Then you have the apothecarists. The apothecary is one who make drugs. It is also learned by apprenticeship. So you can have apothecary, you can be an apprentice under an apothecarist who teach you how to make some chemicals, make some drugs and all that. So you have these three groups. The physician, who is at a higher status in the society, he went to big school, learns theory but doesn't use his hands. You have the surgeon who learn by apprenticeship and hands-on. The apothecarist is hands-on. So at that time, Edward Jenner, the elder brothers went to Oxford and other schools, but he chose to learn apprenticeship. So there was a surgeon apothecarist, Lord Ludlow. Jenner, at the age of 14, he registered to learn to be an apprentice. So at the age of 14, Jenner apprenticed under Mr. Daniel Ludlow, country surgeon apothecary. So for 6 years, Jenner was learning to be a surgeon. He was an apprentice under Ludlow. When he was an apprentice, Jenner heard something or read it somewhere that because apart from the smallpox that affected humans, there was a form of the disease that affected cows. They called that cowpox. And now, cows, they used to make it for milk. So they are milk maids, people who milk the cows for milk, to collect the milk. So Jenner learned that the teats of the cows, where the breasts of the cows, where they milk from, that it can get infected with that cowpox. So those milkmaids, when they are making it, their hands will get infected and they will be infected with cowpox. So Jenner heard that those milkmaids, when their hands are infected with cowpox, they don't come down with smallpox. That if there is an outbreak of smallpox, those milkmaids who were exposed to cowpox don't get infected by it. So he got this idea that, what could be the connection? So he discussed it with Ludlow, who was his master in his apprenticeship. Ludlow dismissed it. So it was after he finished his apprenticeship with Ludlow, he applied to apprentice again to learn under John Hunter, who worked in a university hospital. And so John Hunter had more experience, experience in research, in carrying out experiments, and they did a number of experiments, a number of research on hedgehogs and other animals and all that. So it was why Jenner was working with Hunter that he started to, do a number of experiments and now tried to work on that theory that he had from those milkmaids. So he finished his training with Hunter. He went back to his community, become a country surgeon and all that. So this thing he didn't forget about it. So he was thinking that it's possible if someone is exposed to cowpox from cows, it could protect you from smallpox, which affects humans. But he had a theory, he had to put it to tests. And John Hunter had taught him from the experiments they've done before that if you have a theory, an hypothesis, it's better you put it to test. You carry out the tests to see the outcome. So at that time, there was a milkmaid who was exposed to cowpox. So that milkmaid now, a young lady, that was, yes, the milkmaid was Sarah Nemes, he got the cowpox. So Jenner now got the son of his gardener, who is James Phipps, 8 years old. He now scratched the arm of the 8-year-old boy. He now collected, pus from the skin lesion of the milkmaid who had cowpox. He smeared it on the abrasions he had made on Phipps, and observed Phipps for some time. Phipps had mild symptoms but recovered from that cowpox. So Jenner now waited for some weeks, after which he now got someone who had smallpox. He now got the pus of someone who had smallpox and now did that inoculation, now exposed this James Phipps to the smallpox. And lo and behold, James did not develop smallpox. He was immune. So that proved to him that exposure to cowpox could protect you from smallpox. So he now tried to do more experiments on this. He had his paper. He now sent his paper. He went from his county home, went to London to try to prove his theory. It took him time, but eventually he was able to get other people to listen to him. Initially, they didn't want to listen to him. The way he learned, he was apprentice surgeon and all that. So, but eventually he was able to get others to listen, and then they now advanced on it to use cowpox to inoculate people. Instead of doing variolation, where they are exposed to smallpox, they are now exposed to a less severe variant, which is cowpox, but which is also protective of smallpox. Thus gave birth to the vaccine, So after the initial hurdles he had in people accepting his theories, eventually it became accepted that he started the experiment in 1796, first successful experiment, published his findings in 1798 in a booklet, An Inquiry into the Causes and Effects of the Variola Vaccine. Then in the 1800s, he did it 1798. So 1800s, his method became popular and spread to Europe, India, and the Americas. And in 1813, the US established a national vaccine, National Vaccine Institute. Then in 1853, UK made smallpox vaccination compulsory, and with the success he had in making the making of vaccines and vaccinations became popular. And much later, in 1959, the WHO initiated a global smallpox eradication campaign, and in 1967 it was reinforced. Then In 1977, the last naturally occurring case of smallpox was someone in Somalia. Then May 8, 1980, WHO officially